Unsurprisingly for the head of an organization called the Macdonald-Laurier Institute, I believe the current campaign of vilification and erasure being carried out against Sir John A. Macdonald, architect of Confederation and our first Prime Minister, is both wrong and unjustified. On the other hand, I warmly welcome the desire for reconciliation with Canada's Indigenous peoples that justifies this campaign in the minds of many people of goodwill. Can the desire to celebrate the history of perhaps the finest country in the world and that of seeking reconciliation with Indigenous people who feel wronged by that history be made to coexist? I believe that they can, and that we should try. Remembering that the most recent attack on Sir John's reputation was the removal of his statue from the City Hall in Victoria, BC, in the name of reconciliation. The meaning of that word, reconciliation, is perhaps worth reflecting on. Perhaps the most famous truth and reconciliation effort in the world was South Africa's, following the end of the odious apartheid regime. The values behind that country's Truth and Reconciliation Commission were movingly expressed as, and I quote, a need for understanding, but not for vengeance, a need for reparation, but not for retaliation, a need for kindness, but not for victimization. As one acute observer explained, what Truth and Reconciliation Commissions seek to undo is the deep-rooted human need for vengeance as a means to address past wrongs. Reconciliation requires all the parties to focus on the future, not the past. It requires them to bring great generosity of spirit to the endeavor, to forswear revenge and retaliation because they only sow the seeds of future conflict. Instead, we must look for ways to accept responsibility for past wrongs, to accept genuinely offered gestures of restitution and healing, and to show each other kindness and compassion. That sows the seeds of future comity. The decision to remove Sir John's statue and the larger effort to shame him and his contribution fails these tests of genuine reconciliation. According to Senator Murray Sinclair, who chaired Canada's own Truth and Reconciliation Commission, the problem with tearing down statues is that, quote, it is counterproductive to reconciliation because it almost smacks of revenge or smacks of acts of anger. But in reality, what we are trying to do is to create more balance in the relationship, end of quote. The revulsion with which the vast majority of Canadians have greeted the decision to remove Sir John's statue shows that this gesture fails the test of reconciliation because non-Indigenous Canadians do not accept the reducing of their illustrious founder to a one-dimensional caricature based on a single policy that was widely accepted and supported at the time. Far from promoting reconciliation, this will only create resentment and resistance to real efforts at reconciliation that address the future and not the past. Nothing will dispel the appetite for reconciliation faster than the belief that Canadians who are justly proud of their country must hide these sentiments away and look on silently while our founders are treated as criminals whose names must never be mentioned in polite company. Does that mean that nothing could have been done to recognize Indigenous feelings about the historical facts of traditional Canadian Indian policy? Of course not. New interpretive material could have accompanied Macdonald's statue, fully recognizing his role in helping to create Canada's early Aboriginal policy, along with his many more positive accomplishments, which include, by the way, being an early advocate of women's rights and the Prime Minister who gave Aboriginal people a vote, which was later taken away by Sir Wilfrid Laurier's Liberals. More importantly, Canadians would have embraced the creation and display of new monuments celebrating Indigenous leaders and groups who made noteworthy contributions to their community and to Canada. It is precisely this that Senator Sinclair has called for in the true spirit of reconciliation, not the bringing low of the towering non-Aboriginal figures of our history, but the raising up of their Aboriginal equivalents. How we understand and pursue reconciliation will determine whether we do so in mutual respect and cooperation or mutual distrust and hostility. Put Sir John back in a place of honor. Use the Restoration as an occasion to expand our understanding of his errors as well as his feats, and celebrate Indigenous history and heroes too. That exemplifies the two-way street of genuine reconciliation, seeking neither retaliation nor vengeance, but offering instead understanding and kindness. There is still time. I'm Brian Lee Crowley for the Macdonald-Laurier Institute.